was super introvert, but because of the businesses my dad put us in, right? These family businesses that unlocked me. And then sometimes I feel like when we call about introverts, ambiverts, extroverts, I think I was forced to be an extrovert, right?
But that
But
is
sometimes,
so valuable. Like getting that
yeah,
experience at such a young age, and then you know you might have been introvert inclined, but now you're an extrovert and you're with people and you're comfortable with that, right? There's
yeah,
do you follow Mohnish Pabrai at all? Do you know who that is?
no,
So Mohnish Pabrai, he's an incredible investor, right? Like he followed the whole Buffett principle, Charlie Munger, all those kind of thing, right? He's an Indian fellow. Um, but he started an IT company. He grew it massive. He sold it, and then he actually bid on, Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett. They do those things where you could have dinner with them, you could bid and have dinner with them, right? So he did that, and he ultimately became friends with them, right? And he does the value investing. He's done very well for himself, right? Now, Mohnish Pabrai talks about that because he invests in companies all the time. That's what he does. And he says one thing that he looks for is, he calls it the lemonade test, right? The lemonade stand test. And it's simple. Did this kid or did this guy, woman, whoever it is, did they have a lemonade stand when they were a kid, right? You see like little 12-year-olds, 10-year-olds, they're standing up there on the side. And it doesn't have to be a lemonade stand, right? It could be any sort of little business. But he looks at that and he says, did they have a lemonade stand? That's like the first question he asks almost. Um, I may be wrong on that, right? I'm paraphrasing it. I saw it in a podcast he
hmm,
was on the other day and it caught my eye. But he looks for that, right? And then that builds into so many other things. And the principle behind that is, he talks about up until the age of, I think it's 21, right? Your brain is developing, and the tendencies and the things that you do leading up throughout your whole life, that little stage is when you actually like pick up what you're going to do for the rest of your life. Like you look at things like, look at Bill Gates, right? Why is Bill Gates Bill Gates? Or why was he a software developer? Why did he get into what he was getting into? He was coding from the time he was a little kid. And because of that, because he was in that developmental stage, he built coding skills by the time he was 21, that if you were to start at say age 30, it would take you, instead of 5 years to pick that up, it would take you from 30 up until in your 80s. You probably still wouldn't be as good as him, right? So the
yeah,
overall principle is when you start those things young and you get into it and you put in the reps, and it builds your mind in a different way, and then it sets you up for life. So that those things that your dad did and your mom did, making you sell cups and making you work when you didn't want to work and all those things, that is ingrained in you. And like Leslie, you and I are friends, so I talk to you all the time, and the things that you do, like you tell me you're waking up at 4 a.m. and you're just ripping work. I know 90 or 100% of the time you don't want to do that, but you
oh yeah,
you you have that resilience in you, right? And that's probably all because of the principles that your parents taught you at those age, like
yeah,
fighting through what you don't want to do, doing things you're uncomfortable with. It's ingrained in you at this point, and that's probably above most things is what will actually contribute to your success in the long run.
yeah. So it's funny that you said that because when you mentioned that, it's like, of course, I hated when I was a teenager,
Yeah,
right? I didn't want to work. It's like, who wants to work when you're a kid, right?
yeah,
But it's been like decades that I noticed that, like,